U.S. judge strikes down Trump's policies targeting immigrants from 39 countries. Federal judge on Friday ruled that U.S. President Donald Trump administration has adopted a series of unlawful policies that barred people from 39 countries from receiving decisions on applications for asylum, work permits, and green cards and citizenship. Like, lower circuit judges are infinitely more powerful than the Democrats, but they have less authority. Well, depends on how you look at it. They do infinitely more with the power they have than Democrats do, and Democrats could do so much. He said that immigrants are adhere to the legal process the Congress has enacted. USCIS had adopted regulations. He had been stuck waiting for months on end for benefit requests that USCIS refuses to adjudicate. The judge, who was appointed by Democratic President Barack Obama, said it adopted the policies without statutory regulatory authority based on anti-immigrant sentiments that is forbidden from letting influence its decision-making. USCIS's hold on adjudications cannot be attributed to anything that these individuals did wrong. Rather, it arises solely by the happenstance of their birth, he wrote. The ruling marked a victory for the coalition of immigrant service organizations and labor unions that in March sued to challenge policies adopted the USCIS, which is part of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Yeah, so this is good. This is really good. People can come into the U.S. and escape like actual persecution by their government because of this now. But the rule of law does not apply everyone equally, as evident here. USCIS has never followed the law nor done things the right way, he wrote. Who was this? Mitch McConnell? Indeed, the agency has violated the very immigration... No, this was not. This is the judge. What's the judge's name? John McConnell. Indeed, the agency has violated the very immigration laws that Congress charged it with administering, as well as the administrative laws of the government agency action. Can't be just super racist, man. Can't be mega racist. For no reason, because it doesn't work out in the long run. Also, FISA reauthorization got blocked by Democrats.
This is brand new to everybody. Overnight, the
which
Senate
is
voted
good
to fund ICE for the rest of the president's term, but it's pushed to reauthorize
put this in my
FISA,
chat.
the Spy Powers Act, stalls.
Chad Pergram joins us over the phone with these new details. Hey, Chad.
Good morning, guys. Well, this has all just developed in the past hour.
Which, if you don't know, FISA is a way of collecting information on people, foreign and domestic, because if you're talking with someone from another country, the U.S. then can now collect information on you.
Start with FISA. FISA
Or
Section
FISA.
702 has been very controversial. This is this domestic spying program that they have. And the problem with it is a lot of Republicans and Democrats wanted more guardrails. They've gone through several deadlines.
This is actual work being done here.
The push is
good news. Work's being done.
Next week, they thought they had a bipartisan agreement here because it expires at the end of next week. And so this was a test vote to get past this early this morning. And what happened is that Democrats who had been a party to this bipartisan agreement, they pulled out. You had a number of Republicans who voted against this on this procedural vote. But the reason that the Democrats pulled out is they do not like the installation of Bill Pulte as the acting director of national intelligence.
They don't like evil guy as the acting director of national intelligence. Yeah, no shit.
They don't think that he is qualified for that position, and so they knew that on the Republican side of the aisle there were going to be GOP no's, but they needed Democratic support, and they basically all backed out. This reform bill, this compromise here, would include a ban of a government-backed digital currency for 3 years.
God, I would love that. I would love that.
And House conservatives wanted a permanent ban on that, and it also would prohibit the FBI from using Section 702 of FISA against the prosecution of an American. So they thought they had an agreement there, and that all fell apart because of the Bill Pulte situation. Now, one thing I should note is that if you really get into the weeds on FISA, is that the program, the authorization expires, but what happens at the end of next week, the FISA court has indicated that they can still use the program The question is whether or not that the telecommunications companies will continue to provide the data without the legal cover provided by Congress. So that's the issue right there. So whether or not they can put the genie back in the bottle on that and work out something in the next week is very tough. Now, the other news.
And I mean, the thing is, this should be illegal for the government or any phone company to collect any of this data on you. Like, completely illegal. And the fact that Democrats, Trump and the Republicans love this shit. Because ICE can use this information to track people down.
This morning is that ICE and the Border Patrol, this is the last section of the government funding fight that stems back to last October, is now funded.
Last October, plus the extra couple of months where they were murdering people.
They used this special process to go around a filibuster. They only needed a simple majority. They passed that. There was only one Republican no. That was Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. The House of Representatives late last night went out. They're not going to be in session today. They will have to sync up with the Senate next week, guys.
Wow, a lot going on. Ballroom funded or not?
I know you can't see my face, but I'm like, I actually put my head in my hand. Ballroom funded or not? Sir, is the ballroom funded? I know we're talking about the most comprehensive state watchdog program that, you know, surveys its students. Or students, surveys its citizens. Sorry, I was like blanked out because I was like, I said something wrong there. But is the ballroom funded?
Well, that's the issue. It's White House security is what it is here, and that's the one thing. There were a number of amendments. They had this votorama, as they call it, where they processed, you know, amendments for about 16, 17 hours there, and that was one of the sticking points in this. Also, an effort by Democrats to say, look, is this weaponization fund, is that fully dead? There was an effort by Chuck Schumer very early on yesterday morning to block that, sending that back to committee to try to strip that out legally. So those were the two major things, but sending that back to committee to try to strip that out
sorry, it was a
legally.
weird
So
fucking
those were the
voice.
two major things, but after a lot of consternation, they finally got that done. Remember, they were on the precipice of getting that done a couple of weeks ago, and they weren't pleased. Republicans weren't with, you know, what Todd Blanche had to say about the weaponization fund.
All right, so it's not funded.
Not at this stage.
Copy.
I mean, there's White House security, yes.
Copy.
There is White House security, but this is specific to Border Patrol and ICE.
All right.
All right, so White House security would be that's $220 million. So $1 billion right? $1 billion he needed to finish the ballroom, but he only got $220 million?
Well, you see, and that's the issue. That's where Democrats wanted more clarity, and frankly, some Republicans. You know, what is this used for? They viewed that on both sides of the aisle as a little bit of a, you know, electrified issue, and they were a little bit leery about that. You know, when they first put out the bill, they said this is just going to be about border security and ICE, and then what happened is,
And then tacking on more and more things. This is never getting fucking passed, man. We're gonna infinite shutdown, infinite government shutdown going
had
forward.
the assassination attempt at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and they came back and they tried.
Still so fucking funny to me. Gets shot at. All right, guys, we need the ballroom.
Tried to put things in for the ballroom. The parliamentarian ruled that out of order, and so they put a little bit in there, but it's not the full thing.
Copy
All right,
that.
thanks so much,
Chad.
Chad.
So that's still in flux right now. All right, we'll be following that.
But
now,
that's great news, though. They funded security, first time.
right.
Water security.
Temporarily, for at least the rest of the term.
3 more years.
Yeah.
Be sure to
Yeah, shut the fuck up, bitch. This administration's so fucking funny, man. They're so unserious. And then they just lose. Constantly. Non-stop. There's nothing good ever happening. And the Democrats don't take any fucking shots at, like, don't take the easiest fucking shots at him ever. Ooh, he talked to fucking Man, he is not doing good ever.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has long portrayed himself as being adept in dealing with Donald Trump. But an acrimonious phone call this week with the US president, in which Trump is said to have called Netanyahu effing crazy, has laid bare tensions between the two leaders.
At some point, I said, maybe we got to stop this.
Israeli officials have acknowledged that it was the most
Yeah, Trump, you're a fucking moron. He doesn't want to fucking stop it.
heated phone call yet. While one official dismissed any suggestion of a material change in the pair's relationship, another said it had politically damaged Netanyahu ahead of elections later this year. Netanyahu,
You mean the guy who doesn't have to run because he's gonna...
Israel's longest-serving prime minister, has repeatedly clashed with
He's gonna be elected again because they're not true elections.
Republican and Democratic administrations. Yet Israel has remained Washington's closest Middle East ally. But Nimrod Gorin, the president of Mitvim, an Israeli think tank, says the differences are now very public, unlike in the past when they were usually quietly managed behind closed doors. Following their call, Trump said Israel and Hezbollah had agreed to stop shooting each other. But it prompted accusations by Netanyahu's political opponents, and some within his own government, that he had ceded Israel's sovereignty to the US. The wars with Iran and Hezbollah
Yes,
have been
good. You guys aren't a real country without us anyways. Barely a country with us, not a country without us.
widely popular in Israel, including among supporters of Netanyahu's political rivals. Much of the public wants the fighting to continue. That stands in contrast.
Yeah, this is what I mean by saying, like, Israeli people living in Israel are fucking psychotic.
The US, where many voters, including members of Trump's conservative base, oppose the war. Recent polls show that Netanyahu's coalition government, the most right-wing in the country's history, could fail to win a majority at the next election. According to think tank Gorin, Netanyahu is working to accommodate Trump's demands, as he hopes the president's support will work in his electoral favour. But he adds that some Israelis are not comfortable with the extent Trump appears to be able to influence Israeli military decisions. In contrast,
Your military doesn't exist without us!
in the US, some Trump critics say that Netanyahu holds outsized influence over US foreign policy. Since the US and Israel opened the war with Iran, Netanyahu has at times said he speaks with Trump almost daily, often characterizing their relationship to the Israeli public as one between peers who make decisions together.
God, man, he just fucking fails at everything. Israel's gonna continue doing whatever they want. He has no fucking backbone. He's obviously not gonna fucking stop them. He has zero backbone. He has no backbone. Yeah, for real.